After 10 long years of waiting, I'm shocked to say that this past Sunday, I went to go see a live-action Minecraft movie in person on opening weekend. In this video, I'm gonna share my thoughts and feelings about both the movie and my viewing experience, which was certainly an eventful one to say the least. So just sit back and relax, grab your lava chicken, and enjoy the Slime City footage I have on in the background while we jack our black together. I'm currently working on not making the highways float anymore since they've been levitating for the past half a decade pretty much. By the way, be on the lookout for episode 3 of Slime City coming soon. Real quick, for those who haven't seen the movie yet but still want to know my thoughts without spoilers, in short, I loved it. I definitely had my problems with it, which I'll discuss in a bit, and I think it is by far not a perfect film, but it was a fun little adventure that made an hour and 40 minutes of my life feel like a 10-minute fever dream. As a movie, for me personally, it's an 8 out of 10, but the overall experience made it a 10 out of 10 for me. So there you go, there's my short spoiler-free review. You're more than welcome to stop here if you don't want to hear my more detailed thoughts and spoilers, but feel free to come back here after you see the movie to join the discussion. I'd love to hear what you thought of this masterpiece. I want to start off by saying I am not a film critic. I don't dive too deep into most movies. I love movies, but I watch them because I want to have fun and not think too much into them. I also have exceptionally low standards, which could definitely inflate my score a little bit, as well as overall just some personal bias because I've waited for this movie for over 10 years. You could feed me a shit movie on a plate and I will in all likelihood enjoy it. There has only ever been one time in my life where I can recall a movie made me so vehemently pissed off to the point I wanted to turn the screen off, and that was Halloween Ends. That movie brought out a side of me I had no idea even existed. I despised that movie so much I refused to watch it again. But still, even though it angered me to levels beyond explanation, I didn't turn the screen off. I didn't let my rage stop me from reaching the end credits, and I watched it all the way through. Even though they tainted and ruined a perfectly set up trilogy finale where the main character of the franchise somehow has less screen time than Dan TDM did in the Minecraft movie as a goddamn cameo! I'm sorry, I get very angry very quickly when I talk about that movie. So yeah, I just wanted to be upfront and honest with you. Don't come to me for an in-depth film analysis. There is no reason you should listen to my review other than the fact that I'm a dumbass in a tuxedo that plays too much Minecraft. I had bought tickets for the movie a week before Sunday, April 6th, and as the days went by, my friends and I were the only ones that were gonna be in the theater that night. April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, even the opening couple days, no other tickets for our showing had been purchased. Until somehow, seemingly overnight, almost every seat ended up selling out. I was really disappointed because being alone in the theater for the Minecraft movie with my friends would have been one of the funniest experiences ever. Speaking of friends, I attended the Minecraft movie with my childhood friends Donovan and Ford, two members of my childhood Minecraft world Slam City that we started when we were in middle school, which is kinda crazy how almost a decade later we went from playing Minecraft together as kids to watching the Minecraft movie in theaters as adults. I, of course, dressed for the occasion as the legendary Tuxedo Steve, the same skin that I used back on Xbox 360 edition when I first began my Minecraft journey way back in 2012 at just 9 years old. And to the kid who looked like he was about 12 or 13 walking out of the theater after me who recognized Tuxedo Steve as the best skin in the game, you are an absolute legend and you know ball, my boy. Even though you were born at the same time I started playing Minecraft. God fucking damn it, why do I do this to myself? Donovan and Ford both said my tuxedo looked gay, but I waited over a decade for this movie and I was not gonna miss this opportunity. Plus, maybe I wanted to represent one of my favorite gay people, my friend Peach, okay? Immediately upon walking into the theater, there were a lot of people. A lot of people, I'm assuming, were there for the Minecraft movie, considering there were kids with creeper shirts, people wearing crowns in what I assumed were in tribute to Technoblade. It was honestly a sight to see. And it made me a bit bit emotional watching all the little kids in their Minecraft gear running around laughing and having fun, because 10 years ago, that would have been me. We were the first ones in the theater when the preview started, and I knew we were in for a rough time when I turned around and saw a big group of middle schoolers walking into the row behind us. Even during the previews, they would not shut the fuck up. They just kept yapping. Now, I want to say I'm all for cheering, clapping, and celebrating at key parts in a movie, but I draw the line when people start throwing popcorn and shit and overall just making life a living hell for the cinema workers. I think it's disrespectful and rude, and if you do it, then shame on you. Yeah, sure, it might be funny in the moment, but that doesn't change the fact that minimum wage employees who already probably hate their life enough have to clean up after you. I also don't like the people who are on their phones 24/7 for the movie. It kind of pisses me off. I don't record shit in the theater. I typically like to take a picture of the title card, and I just put my phone away because I'm there to watch the movie. But when I saw the initial reactions, I knew I had to record some of them. Obviously, I can't show any of them here because Warner Brothers already hates me enough, but they were pretty insane. From cheering and clapping at the title card to the beautiful applause for the Technoblade tribute, my theater was beyond active, but everything was sent completely off the rails during the chicken jockey scene. When I first saw Jack Black and Jason Momoa in that ring, I braced myself. I knew what was coming. I literally felt like a time traveler sitting in the Ford Theater just waiting to hear that. Huh. Didn't see that one coming. And sure enough, when Jack Black uttered those infamous words, "Chicken jockey," my theater turned into a fucking arena. It was so loud. People stood up giving standing ovations. Down on the floor towards the front of the screen, I saw somebody chuck popcorn at the screen. And apparently I didn't see this, but my friend Donovan did. Donovan described it as some dude 16 to 17 who ripped off his fucking shirt. He said it was a long sleeve, twirled it around like Muscle Man, threw it at the screen, and ran out of the theater, followed by his two friends behind him screaming. I don't know how I didn't see it. I guess because the whole moment was just a complete blur, but I mean it when I tell you that place erupted. And towards the end of the movie, during the scene where the iron golems are rushing to fight the piglin army, the screen paused and the lights came on, and one of the workers came in, and the dude was like, "We have gotten numerous complaints, not just from inside of this auditorium, but from neighboring auditoriums, that we were so goddamn loud." And to be honest, the dude was a lot nicer about it than I think he should have been. He basically was just like, if this keeps up, we're gonna start kicking people out. But since it was during one of the final scenes of the movie and there wasn't much left, his words fell on deaf ears apparently, because that did not stop anyone in the theater or continuing during the final quarter of the movie. When the lights came on for the last time, I was able to see at the end of our row, where another group of kids were sitting, there was popcorn everywhere. And it was even worse in the row behind us with that group of middle schoolers. On my way down to the exit ramp, I noticed that there was a group of people and one of the workers huddled around the front of the theater, and they were looking down at the floor at something. I don't know what it was because I didn't go up and look, but I guess that's an answer that I'll just never get. And as I was walking out, two workers that were coming into the theater with brooms had the most just, I don't even know how to describe the look on their face. It was like a combination of misery and I want to lobotomize myself with a rusty railroad spike. That's the best way that I could describe it. And it got even worse because when I met up with Donovan outside in the lobby, and when he went into the bathroom, there were kids at the urinal wiggling. He said there were teenagers in the bathroom pissing on the floor. So he told me he just turned right the fuck around and walked out. Oh my god, it was so chaotic. And I both loved and hated it. Loved it because it added to the overall experience, but hated it because the teenagers were clapping, cheering, and being obnoxious at the parts where it wasn't even warranted. Look, I'm all for the cheering, clapping, and being excited at the iconic moments in in a movie, but after seeing the faces of those cinema workers as I was leaving that theater that night, I felt so bad. If it wasn't already late at night, and if I wasn't starving, I was gonna offer to stay and help them clean up. But it was already like 9:30, and I just wanted to get home. Please, if you're going to see the Minecraft movie, don't be a jerk. Don't waste and throw popcorn on the floor, and learn some fucking empathy. Now, time for my thoughts on the movie itself. I might as well start with one of my biggest concerns that I had leading up to the release, and that was Jack Black as Steve. If you've been following my content for the past year and a half, you'll know that I have been very iffy with the idea of Jack Black as Steve. From the second it got announced to even when the trailers were dropping, I was getting severe cold feet about Jack Black as Steve. And I'm happy to report that for the most part, I actually liked Jack Black as Steve. I thought he gave a good performance. When I changed my perspective about the whole situation and really started thinking, Steve himself is a default character for a reason. He doesn't have a story. You, the player, are supposed to give Steve your personality and write his adventure for him. That's one of the great things about Minecraft. You make the story. You make Steve who he is. And what we saw was just Jack Black's interpretation of Steve. There's no set in stone story for Minecraft, and there's no set in stone origin story or just story in general for Steve. Hence why the title of the movie is a Minecraft movie, not the Minecraft movie, because this is just simply one story out of the infinite possibilities of stories for a Minecraft movie. And when I started to look at it like that, I eased up on it a little bit. It's obviously still gonna just feel like Jack Black in a blue shirt, but I can't help but feel like that was intended. Jack Black took this role to heart, and I can tell he really gave it his all. So overall, Jack Black Steve, I liked it. Something that I wasn't expecting. Another thing that I really loved, and honestly probably ended up becoming my favorite part about the movie, was the world. The world is beautiful. Even the mobs grew on me heavily. Now, albeit I didn't hate on them anywhere near as much as other people did when that first trailer came out, there were some that I absolutely loved. The Enderman and Iron Golem were probably my two favorites. Specifically the Swiftness Golem, I thought that was a really cool design. I think the villagers look as good as they could for a live action movie, and although the sheeps looked extremely cursed, I was able to look past it because the rest of the movie was just really appealing to look at. The movie looks, feels, and breathes Minecraft. And it's not even entirely CGI either. The team and the crew of this movie knocked it out of the park. Hand designing items and blocks. The one irrefutable fact is that a lot of love went into this movie, and that's something you can't just deny because you see it. The items look like they were ripped straight from the game, and that is something I cannot applaud the crew good enough for. A+ on the visuals, probably my favorite part about the movie. My other favorite part of the movie are the references. Obviously, shout out Technoblade. And an even bigger shout out to Sebastian Hansen because he's the reason why the Technoblade tribute was even in the movie. Of course, you know your boy Dan TDM. He made a very brief cameo in the movie, but it was only for like a 15-second time frame, and he was on the side of the screen, which is cool and all. I'm glad he was in it, but at the same time, I thought it would have been so cool to have him in the actual world of Minecraft dressed as his skin. That would have got such a big pop out of me. And of course, the biggest reference in the movie, which got me so excited, there was a moment where all the characters' eyes were purple. Now, every character's eyes were purple except Steve's, who instead had the iconic Herobrine white eyes. Oh my god, my Enrod almost exploded in that theater. They actually acknowledged Herobrine on the big screen. And what made it even cooler is one of the people who worked on the movie tweeted saying that there was a glitch or a rendering error in the movie that caused one of the characters' eyes to be white. Spinning off and twisting that reference into a glitch, just like Herobrine himself is just... I can't even put it into words. If they were going to put Herobrine in the movie somehow, the way they did it was perfect. And that was one of the main things I wanted in this movie. So, Mojang, Thank you so much for that. That was fucking awesome. Another really good thing that I liked was the humor. This movie got a few good laughs out of me. And the jokes that were made were jokes that I could have never predicted would have been in this movie. If you told me Jack Black and Jason Momoa would have been 69ing in the air to squeeze through a tiny hole gap while Jack Black gets a nice grip of Jason's ass cheeks and making comments about gyrating hips, what the fuck? I was dying of laughter in that theater during that. Then they made a joke about Steve's crotch smelling, but it was shaken off as he keeps Gorgonzola cheese in his pockets. What? I knew I was gonna laugh because it's Jack Black, but oh my god, I never could have predicted that. And the last good thing I have to say is General Chungus. Easily by far my favorite character in the movie. R.I.P. General Chungus. I'm gonna miss you. Now, unfortunately, it's not all diamonds and butter. It did have some problems, and unfortunately, one of the worries that I had leading up ended up becoming true. Jack Black and Jason Momoa, Steve and Garrett are the best characters in this movie. They were the two standouts. And no, I'm not saying that because of the sexual tension. Dawn, Natalie, and Henry are all meh characters at best. There's no reason in the movie for me to give a shit about Dawn. There was a little bit of a reason for me to care about Natalie because she stepped up the role of being the bigger sister and taking care of Henry. I liked that dynamic, but ultimately, outside of a few short scenes with both Dawn and Natalie, it just wasn't enough for me to care. Henry played a bigger role in the movie than Natalie and Dawn, but not by much. He was essentially like the martyr of the movie, and I did really enjoy that aspect of his character, the creativity aspect. I thought that was really good. But for the most part, those three characters are just outshined by Garrett and Steve. Garrett has the most personality out of all of them, and besides Steve and General Chungus, of course, Garrett was probably my favorite. I think this movie would have greatly benefited from an additional 5 to 10 minutes to give the other characters a bit more time, because there were moments where I was beginning to care a little bit, but it just wasn't enough. I do hope in the inevitable sequel, Dawn, Natalie, and Henry get more time, because I want to care about them because they're in this movie. So hopefully with just a bit more time, a bit more character development, those three can reach the level of Garrett or Steve. The plot as well wasn't the best, but I kind of already assumed that going in. The main villain, Malgosia, was okay. I really liked the scene at the end when she was defeated and she was trying to stab Steve. I thought that was pretty funny. The piglins as the main villain were okay. I do like and I respect the fact that they chose to go with the piglins because it was fresh and unique. Would I have still preferred it to be the Ender Dragon? Yeah, a little bit, but it wasn't something super predictable, so I applaud them for that. All in all, I really liked this movie. I thought it was super fun. And even not counting the wild experience in the theater, it was still a fun time. And like I said earlier, that hour and 40 minutes really flew by. This movie was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. The ride leading up to release was an emotional roller coaster unlike any that I've experienced before. Seriously, I have never been so mixed leading up to a movie before, and this whole experience in general was unlike anything I've ever experienced before. And I've never had a movie paused on me at the cinema. That alone is insane. But I think a few years from now, when we all look back, we're gonna want to be back in this moment. And hey, it looks like we will be able to experience this again somewhat because this movie is a major box office success, and they are already talking about making a sequel, and they set it up with the post-credits scene when they introduced Alex. We are obviously going to be getting multiple Minecraft movies with how big of a success this is. What I want personally, we got this movie. I think a second movie with the Ender Dragon as the main antagonist is a great idea. I really want to see the Ender Dragon on the big screen. It's one of my favorite mobs, and I'm disappointed I didn't get to see it in this movie. And I think a third trilogy finale with Herobrine as the main antagonist would fulfill every desire and every dream that I have. They already referenced Herobrine. Now all they need to do is make the full step and make him the main antagonist of this trilogy. And come a few years from now, when that movie gets made, you know damn well I will be seated. With, of course, my Flinton meal, which I actually got the Grimace toy out of first try. I was 21 walking into that theater that night, but I walked out feeling like I was 10 years old again, because that little kid was the one watching this movie. And let me tell you, he is so very happy. I had such a blast with this movie, and I think it's safe to say that this is an experience that I will remember and cherish for the rest of my life. I'll cherish every flint and steel, every chicken jockey, every lava chicken, and every other meme that we have gotten on this crazy adventure. And I think now I can confidently say that 10-year wait was worth it. At least for me. Thank you all so much for taking this journey with me, and for watching me crash the fuck out every single time a new trailer dropped. I'm like a big bon wing Oh! Yeah! And I cannot wait to see what is next. What did you guys think of the movie? Tell me in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. And as always, my employees, keep your end rods stiff, your chicken jockeyed, and above all, stay classy.